Android 1.2. This is where Android was born. Android 1 and Android 2 were like a tiny baby learning how to walk. These versions came out around 2008 to 2010 when smartphones were still new and kind of weird. Touchscreens existed, but they were not super smooth like today. Phones back then had buttons, trackballs, and sometimes even tiny keyboards. Android 1 and 2 focused on basic stuff, like calling, texting, using simple apps, checking emails, and browsing the internet in a very slow way. Apps were very basic. No fancy animations, no dark mode, no gestures, just tap and wait. Sometimes wait a lot. These versions also introduced Google Play Store, which was a huge development back then. That's where downloading apps became a thing. So yeah, not powerful, but very important. Android 3. Android 3, also called Honeycomb, was made mainly for tablets, not phones. Tablets were becoming popular because of the iPad, and Android wanted a piece of that action. This version looked very different from phone Android. Big buttons, wide screens, and more space for apps. It was designed so you could use it on a big screen without feeling lost. For example, you could watch a video on one side and scroll something else on the other side. That felt cool at the time, but here's the funny part. Android 3 didn't last long. It was kind of a test version. Many phones never got it. It was like Android saying, let me try this real quick. Some things worked, some didn't. Android 4. Android 4 was a big deal. This is where Android started looking modern and smooth. Android 4 is also called Ice Cream Sandwich, Jelly Bean, and Kit Kat. Fun names, right? Google loved dessert names back then. This version fixed a lot of problems. Everything became faster, smoother, and nicer to look at. Swiping felt better. Notifications became smarter. You could pull down the notification bar and actually do stuff from there. That was huge. Android 4 also brought better multitasking. You could switch between apps easily, like jumping from YouTube to WhatsApp and back. Phones started feeling like small computers instead of just calling machines. Imagine upgrading from an old, slow laptop to a new one that opens apps quickly. That's Android 4. Many people really started loving Android because of this version. It made phones fun to use, not frustrating. This is where Android became cool for normal users. Android 5. Now Android 5 came in and said, let's add some style. This version introduced something called material design. Sounds fancy, but it just means colorful buttons, smooth animations, and everything looking clean and flat. Apps started looking similar in design, which made phones easier to use. Buttons felt like real objects. When you tapped something, it moved in a nice way. Simple stuff, but it made a big difference. Android 5 also improved notifications even more. You could see notifications on your lock screen, so without unlocking your phone, you already knew who messaged you. Pretty useful, right? Battery life also got better with a feature that helped apps not run crazy in the background. Think of it like telling apps, hey, chill when I'm not using you. Overall, Android 5 made phones feel polished, colorful, and more friendly for everyday users. Android 6. Basically, Android 6 focused on one big problem: battery life. Everyone complains about battery, right? Android 6 introduced better battery control. It had a feature that put apps to sleep when you weren't using them. This version also changed how app permissions worked. Before, apps could access a lot of stuff without asking properly. Now Android started asking things like, can this app use your camera? You could say yes or no. That made phones feel safer. It didn't look very different from Android 5, but under the hood things got smarter. Phones lasted longer on one charge and users felt more in control. Android 6 was not flashy, but it was practical. Like upgrading your phone case instead of the phone itself. Android 7. This version introduced split-screen mode. That means you could use two apps at the same time. For example, watching a YouTube video on top and chatting on WhatsApp below. Notifications also became interactive. Finally, you could reply to messages directly from the notification bar. No need to open the app. That saved time and felt smooth. Android 7 made phones feel faster and smarter overall. Switching between apps was quicker. Everything felt more connected. Think of it like having two windows open on your laptop instead of one. Once you get used to it, going back feels weird. Android 7 helped users do more things without extra effort. It wasn't a huge design change, but it made daily phone use much easier. Android 8. Now let's talk about Android 8. This version focused on controlling apps running in the background. Some apps secretly eat battery and data. Android 8 said nope, not anymore. That helped with battery life and phone speed. Phones stayed smoother for longer. Android 8 also added picture-in-picture mode. That means videos could play in a tiny window while you use other apps. Like watching a video while scrolling Instagram. Very handy. Notifications got even better with channels. Apps could separate important alerts from useless ones, so your phone buzzed less for nonsense. Android 9 brought more intelligence into phones. It learned how you use your phone and adjusted things automatically. For example, it could predict which app you'll open next. Battery management became even smarter. The phone learned your habits and saved power when needed. Buttons and menus became simpler too. Android 9 also focused on digital well-being. It showed how much time you spend on apps. So if you're on your phone all day, Android politely shows you the truth. Android 10 changed how you control your phone. Buttons started disappearing. Gestures came in, you swipe to go back, swipe up to go home. It felt modern like iPhones. Dark mode also became official, finally. This helped battery life and looked cool, especially at night. Privacy settings improved a lot. Now you had more control over location and app access. Android 10 was about feeling modern and clean. Phones felt futuristic, and navigation became more fun once you got used to it. Android 11 to 14. Now let's group these together as they build on each other. Android 11 to 14 focused on privacy, customization, and smooth performance. Things like better permission control, smoother animations, and more control over how your phone looks. You can customize colors, fonts, widgets, and lock screens. Like your phone, your rules. Performance became better. Security also improved in this version. Android 15. Basically, Android 15 is all about being more careful and more smooth at the same time. Google looked at how people actually use phones every day and said, okay, let's make this simpler and safer. One big focus here is privacy. Android 15 gives you clearer warnings when apps try to access your photos, microphone, or location. It's like your phone gently tapping your shoulder and saying, hey, just to let you know this app is peeking. Another cool thing is better performance. Apps open faster, animations feel smoother, and the phone feels lighter even if it's old. You know when your phone starts lagging after many updates, Android 15 tries to reduce that feeling. Battery usage is also improved. Background apps are controlled better so random apps don't secretly drain power. Android 16. Now let's say Android 16 is where phones start feeling like a helper living inside your phone. Android 16 focuses a lot on AI. Now your phone doesn't just show notifications, it understands them, makes short summaries, and even hides useless ones so your screen feels calm, not crazy. With Gemini AI inside, your phone can help you reply faster, find photos or files just by asking normally, and even suggest actions like setting reminders, just like a helpful friend. Android 16 also makes typing, photo editing, and safety better using AI, which simply means your phone thinks a little before helping you. All of this happens quietly in the background, so using your phone feels easier, smoother, and way more human than before. Comment below what version of Android you are using right now, and subscribe for more amazing tech-explaining videos like this.